Welcome to Healing Minds, Stories of Resiliency and Recovery, a conversation held at the intersection of substance abuse, mental health, and everyday living. Your hosts, Marc Regala and Justin Wolf, bring both professional expertise and personal understanding to the table. So welcome to the conversation. Let's dive in.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Healing Minds, Stories of Resiliency and Recovery. My name is Justin Wolf, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host, Marc Regala. Marc, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
Doing wonderful, man. We got a guest with us today, Mauricio. So excited to kind of hear and kind of hear his story and triumphs and kind of where he's at. But anything, Marc, you'd like to share about this time of the year? I know you like to give the audience and the guest an update about what's happening this time of year and what you've been up to.
Dog days of winter. Let's see here. The gym is pretty much open again. Everybody lost their New Year's resolution already. That was done by January 15th or 20th.
Oh, wow. That's stayed longer.
Got the Super Bowl coming up here in a little bit, so that's pretty exciting. And we got pitchers and catchers reporting in a couple of weeks. So spring's around the corner. So that's your season. You're a baseball guy, Justin.
Let's go. Yeah, I'm a baseball guy too, for sure.
Are you? Okay, that's cool, man.
Cubs all day.
Oh, please.
Northside baby.
Oh God.
It's all right. It's all right, man. I'll forgive you for it's like the next hour. We'll be fine. We'll be good. But yeah, no, I mean, a lot of things are coming. And Marc, what is that shirt you're rocking today? I mean, I know the audience wants to know what it's representative of, but I'm more curious about these.
This is actually a gift from our guest, Mauricio.
All right.
Mauricio, in his recovery, has opened up a barber shop, a very successful barber shop, and I go there. I would say to get my hair cut, but he shaves down my head, Justin. I don't have much hair. I don't have any hair. And then he does my beard, and we have good conversations there. And I like the shirt. He got an extra small for me, so it's nice and tight. Perfect. Yeah.
Down to the kid size, huh?
I'm proud of him, man. I really am proud of him. We're going to get into his story, but he's done a complete 180 since I got to know him, about 3.5 years ago, 3 years and 9 months ago or something like that.
Yeah, right about, bro.
Yeah, I mean, from getting completely sober to opening up his own business, and the business is rocking and rolling. It's very successful, and he's pretty much turned his life around in a few years.
Dude, as you're talking, Marc, I can just hear how proud you are of him and how you're just kind of like, man, this guy's incredible.
I really appreciate it. He's seen me from ground up. I can't lie. He's seen me for real from ground up, for sure.
Yeah.
So Mauricio, I mean, Marc's kind of teed it up here. I think if you're willing, man, to kind of share with us a little bit about your story and kind of what got you to where you are today, man, I think that'd be pretty incredible.
So, my name is Mauricio. I'm from Chicago. Parents from Mexico, you know what I mean? I had a problem with alcohol for a very long time. It started with partying to hanging out with friends to drinking alone. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I started drinking at a very young age. I started drinking when I was about 13, 14, I want to say. And then, as I got older, I got introduced to drugs like pills and, cocaine, stuff like that. I gave it a try, you know what I mean? But I wasn't that big of a drug guy, like drugs, marijuana, cocaine. I wasn't really into that. I had a year of just using, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But my thing was just alcohol. I love drinking. I just love drinking. It made me feel real good. The times I would not drink, I would feel lonely, depressed, alone. And then I had a lot going on at that time, you know what I mean? I didn't know how to control my emotions. I didn't know how to control my surroundings, you know what I mean? So, yeah.
You kind of highlight, man, where it's hey, I'm going to look external to try and solve internally what's going on with me, that I might not have the tools or the resources at this time to manage this, because this is uncharted territory. It's one of the most things people have to do, right? It's kind of look inwards and just be good with what's there. That's a really difficult thing to do.
Yeah. I'm a barber, so I've been cutting hair for 15 years now. It's different because I've always drank and partied and had a great time, but I've noticed as I got older, my drinking would have changed. When I was from 18 to 25, I was partying, going to clubs. I was actually having a great time, like enjoying it. And then from like 25 and up to 28 years old, it was horrible. It was just terrible. Like sometimes I wake up like at 6 a.m. and I want to go cut hair. I'd rather go to 7-Eleven and wait outside and get a Monaco, start my morning, and then after that go back, get a 12-pack, and then go from there. You know what I mean? I lost a lot of relationships with people. I damaged a lot of people too. You know,
Yeah.
it's just crazy what alcohol can do.
Right. So what was going on for you, man, around that time where it kind of picked up and like the relationship you had with it changed?
So pretty much my parents had split up, I want to say when I was like 17, 18, around there. And I was kind of like depressed, sad. I'm like, damn, what's going to happen with me? You know what I mean? But then I was happy. I'm like, you know what? It's pretty cool. I get to do whatever I want. My mom went her own way. They didn't want me around because I was real bad. Hanging on the streets, bad people around me. My dad moved far. He knew I was going to be good. So I was like, I was kind of like excited, like, yeah, I'm going to grow up now. I'm going to do me, this and this and that. And then I just started like hanging out with people in the streets. I got to know people. They knew I was kind of homeless. I would sleep in the train station at times. I would sleep at my aunt's hallway at times. Sometimes in her kitchen. You know, it was tough, no lie.
Yeah, no, I meant being homeless at that age, and then like you're just resourcefulness to kind of get
Hey,
through and figure it
I've
out.
seen I've seen so much growing up. You know what I mean? I was getting arrested left and right. I was going to the audio home.
Yeah.
You know, the
Yeah.
drug. I was going there a lot, and then when I was going there, I kind of liked it because they were feeding me good, and I felt safe in there.
Yeah.
I felt safe in there. And then when I would come out, I would be nervous because I feel like I wasn't safe. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So sometimes I would just be doing whatever I wanted. I'm like, you know what? If I go back to the juvenile center, it's okay. I'll be safe in there. And then I would end up in there a month later. And it was like that. I was like that on and off for like a couple of years until I became an adult. Then I started going into the, you know, Cook County Jail, DuPage County Jail, and things were just not adding up. I'm like, I can't really be doing this anymore. Like, I just can't. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What was that moment like for you? Where you had that thought, man, where they just kind of like, dude, this is not working. Like I just need something different.
When I when I was 28, when I was 28 years old, that was by far one of the hardest years of my life. It was just I was just so depressed. I was confused. I was lost. I was drinking every single day, nonstop, like nonstop. I felt lost. I did not want nobody around me. I had crazy thoughts. You know what I mean? It was just horrible. I ended up, getting in trouble. I ended up getting in trouble. I caught a case. I ended up in Cook County Jail. And while I was in there, my first 2 months were horrible. I didn't know what a withdrawal was from alcohol. I didn't know. So when I was in there, my first few weeks, I was feeling kind of weird and moody, depressed. And then once I hit like a month, I started feeling like really, really sick. I thought I had COVID. They tested me for COVID in there. They're like, no, you don't. You're perfectly fine. And then I started sweating, throwing up, diarrhea. And I remember my cellie at the time, we would wake up in the morning and he'd be like, hey, man, you good? Did you pee yourself? And I'm touching myself everywhere. And I'm like, no, I didn't, but I'm wet. He's like, man, it smells like alcohol in here. What are you doing? I was like, man, I don't know. And me and him had a good bond. I didn't want him to kick me out of the deck we were in. So we were kind of like, I'm like, man, I don't know, bro. I've been drinking a lot before I got here. And he's like, oh, you're withdrawing. He told me what a withdrawal was. I did not know. After he told me that, I was like, wow.
No, I mean,
I
man,
was like, wow.
yeah, man, like the surprise, like that's what's happening. That sounds pretty cool.
And then around that time, also like before that happened, too, like it was just like I haven't seen my daughter. You know what I mean? I haven't seen my daughter for about 4 years. So all that was just like I'd get drunk and it would just hit me, and I'd get real depressed, very angry. I would want to go do dumb stuff,
Yeah.
and I would do it. I would go and do dumb stuff, and then I regret it. Like, oh, why did I do that? Why did I do that? So the next day I'll drink 2 beers and do it all over again. You know what I mean? But like I said, when I was in jail, I was thinking to myself like, oh, I can't be doing this anymore. I'm already 2 months sober. You know, I don't know how long I'm gonna be here for, but once I get out, there's no way I'm gonna drink. Like this is the longest I've ever gone without drinking. And the withdrawal part really scared me. It was terrible. I'm not gonna lie. I was shaking, the worst anxiety ever. I would like shake. Sometimes I would feel like I'm gonna get like an anxiety, a panic attack. You know, it was real bad. So whatever, I ended up coming out like 7 months later, and I was just like, you know what? I need change. I need change. I grabbed my phone, broke it, threw it out. I did it in social media. I started cutting hair. And around that time, I had known Marc already in between. I had disappeared for a little bit. He didn't know really what was going on, but that's really what had happened. I was feeling locked up. So when they came out, I just continued the sober journey. I completely cut off everything and everybody out of my life. Like it was just family, my girl. That's it. That's it. Nothing else. That's it. People would come look for me. I'll tell them I'm not here. I even stopped going to work for like 2 months after that. And then the guy at the bar show where I was working, he said, "Hey, when are they gonna come back? I know you're out, blah blah blah." I was like, "Man, you know what? I want to talk to you." He said, "What's up?" I'm like, "Yeah, I think I'm done. I'm gonna stay away for a little bit." And all that time, so many people were making fun of me. You're scared, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, I don't want to be like you guys. You can go to jail, do 2, 3 years, come back out, do 2 more years again, come back out, do a year. That's not my lifestyle. I'm done. So after that, I was cutting here in the garage. Remember, Mark?
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, for sure.
I only had a selected clientele that I wanted to come into my garage. Like just very few people.
Yeah.
Mark was definitely one of them for sure. I was always talking to him, like, man, I've been sober. It's hard. It was hard. It was so hard because I still craved it. You know what I mean? Like I still crave beer, drinks, margaritas, all that. And he would always talk to me, like, "Oh, don't worry, you've been doing good." Also, one of my uncles, which he also met, I looked up to him as growing up. He was a street guy too, from the North Side neighborhood, and he was a real diva. Also, he had gone sober before I got locked up. So on the whole time, I looked up to him. I mean, I'm just like, man, he's sober. I can do it. If he did it, I can do it. Also, another thing, while I was locked up, I lost like 4 of my really closest friends to drugs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot of fake pills going around. People get drunk and just take whatever pill they get handed to. It was horrible. It was tough.
Yeah. I got a couple of questions for you, Mauricio. So, when you were growing up, I mean, did you always consider yourself an anxious kid? Did you have panic attacks as like a teenager and stuff like that?
Oh yeah, for sure. My mom was diagnosed with anxiety. Her mom was diagnosed with anxiety. A lot of her brothers have anxiety. They take medication for it. I personally don't, but I've always been like very anxious. Like, I was a kid. They wanted me to take medication. They wanted me to take Adderall in order to go to school. I wouldn't take it because every time I would take it, it would make me feel real weird, like real moody. I wouldn't eat. I was losing weight. I was real quiet. And when it would wear off, I would get real mad, real angry. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I ended up just dropping out.
Yeah. So when you were drinking 13, 14, 15 years old, I mean, you'd be basically doing that as like a form of, I mean, I obviously was hanging out with friends and partying and that, but was it almost like a self-medication where it would relax you and you wouldn't feel as anxious and not get those panic attacks?
No, that was later, after when I was like older, like in my 20s.
Okay.
I'm 32 right now, by the way. But there was times where like we'd go to the bar with my guys and I'd get a beer and I'd just start getting very anxious, anxiety's kicking in. And I'm just like, I want to get drunk already. I don't want to feel this anymore. I'll just start downing drinks like crazy. People would look at me like, "Damn, dude, you're right." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm good." And I remember one time some guy's like, he grabbed me by the shoulder. He's like, "You're going through something, young man." And that blew me.
Yeah.
Nobody ever called me out on it, ever.
Yeah.
And the way he said it, like he knew damn well what he could see. You know what I mean? Even like us, I don't know if you knew, but we work for security company. You know about that, right?
Yeah.
So there's times we would work at a bar, and I would see people coming in the bar. I could just tell who's having a great time and who's not having a great time. Just by the look in their eyes, the way they move, you could tell like who you gotta watch out for. You know what I mean? So that's how I know that dude that came up to me like, "Oh, you're going through something, aren't you?" I was like, "No, I'm not." Really, I was.
Of course.
I was going through it a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Also, I kept telling myself, I want to see my daughter. I want to see my daughter.
Yeah.
I wasn't making any progress, any change. Like, how am I going to see my daughter? Like, how's she going to come home and just see me drunk, laid up on the ground, sick, shaking, sweating? You know what I mean? So after I came out, I've been just working on myself first. I had to find myself all over again. These past 3 years I've been sober, I learned so much about myself. I learned so much about myself. I learned to love myself. You know what I mean? So now that I learned a lot about myself, I got a lawyer to try to give visitation to my daughter. It's been very tough because they think I'm probably still the same old guy, but it's been 3 years. I'm nowhere close to what I used to be. Guaranteed.
No. No, this transformation's been incredible, Justin. I'm just trying to walk through this right now because, like, they obviously had anxiety as teenager, and then you went to the streets, but your parents were going through that divorce. So
Yes.
you're finding some love in the streets with your brothers in the streets that maybe you weren't necessarily finding at home or didn't feel like you were getting at home because of everything that was going on with the parents. Is that a fair assumption or no?
Yeah, and the love you get in the streets is always going to be there. Like that was a problem. Like I would try to change, and something would happen. Well, guess who's there for me? I go back to the neighborhood.
Yeah.
The phone call. Oh, come through, come through. I'm on my way right now. Once I would go back, that was it. It's keep taking 1,000 step backs. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But then,
Also, I accomplished so much these past 3 years. Like I opened up my barbershop in Wooddale. I opened up my barbershop, Modern Fades. I opened that up. Yeah, I've been open for 3 years now. I learned how to tattoo while I was in jail. I didn't know how to tattoo with the COVID mask. So when I came out, I'm like, I'll give it a try. Why not? I ended up being real good at it. So I learned how to tattoo. I'm back at the gym. Now I'm working on getting my daughter back into my life. Life's been so good. I love it. I love it. I'm happy. I'm physically, mentally happy. You know what I mean? I feel so good. Like I feel really good about myself.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Just like the work and commitment that you made to yourself. I mean, sometimes it's really difficult to kind of make that transition from being like, you know what, I'm going to treat myself like I don't care about the outcome of whatever happens because you just get so down and so hopeless and just so like there's so much pain to like making that flip to actually being like, you know what, like I deserve better. And I'm actually going to treat myself like I care about this person that's involved in the story here. And that sounds like what you did, man. Like what was the thing that kind of pushed you to actually be like, you know what? I need to be actually look out for me. Like I want to look out for these other people in my life.
I started paying attention like my dad, he's diabetic, so he wasn't doing good. Like he was like damn near about to die. And then, like I say, all their surroundings around me were passing away. Yeah. And I'm like, man, I need to take care of myself. I need to, go get checked out. It was that. And then also, like I said, being in jail really opened up my eyes. That's definitely not where I want to be at. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not a good place. It's not a good place at all.
No.
You know what I mean? That was definitely it. That really hit me like, I need to stop, watching my family suffer, my sister, brother, her husband, putting them through all that pain, fear. They were really exhausted. I really felt bad. I just feel like God came and blew shine in my life or something. I don't know,
Yeah.
Should I tell them about the first time I knocked on your front door?
Well, I mean, you can't ask that question, not follow it up, Mark.
They didn't want to answer the door because they thought I was a cop.
Oh, yeah. He was going to pick me up for an appointment. I was downstairs. Came, knocked the door, and my sister's like, please don't try it. I'm like, open it. I don't know. I'm not doing anything. Go ahead. And it was Mark.
Door's opening really slow. Yeah, can I help you? I'm like, I'm Mauricio's friend. It was good. Yeah. Now they know me. Now they open the door and they welcome me with open arms, but they didn't know me originally.
Yeah.
But
And as I opened my barbershop, like I just felt like I had a lot to lose. Like now I'm looking at I started like building different relationships with different people. I don't hang out with people from the past. I don't associate with nobody from the past. As much as I got so much love for them and I missed a lot of the guys, they had to go. They had to go. And that's that's a selfish move, but I want to better myself, And then
well, I mean,
having
the thing about the whole you say about it being a selfish move. We've talked about this before.
never
In one area, it's okay to be selfish in is when it comes to your mental health, your
yes, no, for
physical health,
sure.
your sobriety. I mean, it's absolutely 100% okay to be selfish in that area. You have to.
Yeah,
Because we talked about this, Mauricio. If you don't have your sobriety and you don't have your recovery, what do you have?
yeah.
Backwards then.
Yeah.
And also, I mean, those things had to happen. But I will say this, Justin, those were not conversations that him and I had. Those were things that he implemented himself through personal observations. So I'm going to give him credit there. I mean, there was no guidance from me in that regard. I didn't tell him, "Hey, you got to eliminate certain people from your life," because honestly, we really didn't talk about that life and his friends or whatever. I've gotten to meet a bunch of them now at the barber, or some of them at the barber shop and stuff like that. But those are people that he still has part of his life. The other guys, I have no idea. That was just something that he did. The gym thing, we've kind of supported each other on that. I mean, he did. He helped me a lot early on, motivating me. Just like Ted, the guy that we had on the podcast, helped me with my diet, getting my diet straight. So again, it's just this relationship of give take. We support each other as brothers.
We're always here for each other. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
we still get our moments where it'll randomly hit us, like me and him on the holidays past. I had a great time with the family. You know what I mean? But I wish I had my daughter with me. Like,
Yeah.
there's
no,
just random moments. Like, there's times like I'm in a really good mood, cutting hair, whatever. I'm happy. Once I think about my daughter, like, man, it really breaks me. Like, it really breaks me that moment. Like, it's very depressing. Her
no.
birthday just passed on the 17th. I knew about it. I just stayed quiet. I didn't want to talk about it with anybody. I just kept it to myself. Then on their day, man, I was like, oh hey, all out in front of everybody. Oh, it's Julisa's birthday. Once she said that, like, that just broke me. I didn't say nothing. I just started crying. It broke me. Like, there's nothing I can do. I'm just, just going with the flow, going to court, do
And
what I
that's
can
the
do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
that's the one area that him and I can relate to. We've had a lot of conversations about this because we all know my story about my kids. And he's got his story with his daughter, and I kind of knew what he was going through at Christmas. He knew what I was kind of going through on Christmas, so we were texting each other. Are you doing okay?
Yeah, for sure.
Just having each other's back. But like the one thing I drive into his mind is, it's you're going to get depressed thoughts. You're going to get maybe an urge every now and then. But what are you going to gain for going backwards? Because you've come so far. We just got to
You
keep.
know, you know what's crazy, Mark? Like the first 2 years was kind of hard. Like sometimes I get first, I need a drink,
I know.
maybe one will hurt. But now, believe it or not, I was just telling my mom that like it doesn't even cross my mind anymore at all. Like
Yeah.
I got so much going on. I'm so busy I'm just real busy right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Drinking does not cross my mind. Going out, it just does not cross my mind. I feel like at that time I had too much time on my hands where I would just drink.
Yeah.
Now it's like I can have a bad day. Like for example, on my daughter's birthday, it really hit me.
Yeah.
Drinking was not in my. It didn't. I didn't think about it. Like I completely forget about drinking.
Same thing with the house.
It's like you're connected with everything that's going on in your world. Like you're actually getting out there, living your life. You're a really busy guy.
For sure. I'm busy for sure. Yeah, like I go to the gym. I'm always networking, letting people know, hey, I'm a barber. I got my barbershop here. Come by. I'll take care of you. I got 5 barbers that can also take care of you. They come by to get to know me, and they find out that I'm not drinking, smoking, doing drugs, and they're very curious about it. So they come back, and then they slowly start opening up to me. Now I'm not just their barber. Now I'm their therapist. They come sit down and talk to me about everything. There's a lot of people I try to help out, but I mean it's hard to help somebody out. You know what I mean? Like I got people that message me, text me, like, hey man, I just stopped drinking. Like I want to stop. It's really hard. Like I tell Mark all the time. I'm like, Mark, what should I tell them? Because they're not gonna stop. Like I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, but you're not gonna stop drinking. Like it takes a lot to stop drinking. Like, you want to stop drinking, get rid of your phone right now, and literally stay home. Like, literally stay home. Best thing I can do. Tell you, stay home. Join a gym membership. I don't know. Go to the zoo. Stay busy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, when I'm at home cutting hair, when I'm at the barbershop cutting hair, I'll come home, cook my meal. I'm done eating. I'll start drawing. I like drawing. I'm drawing script, cursive. I'm just trying to better myself in whatever I can right now, as much as I can.
Yeah. One thing I want to hit on though is kind of how him and I met each other. And I'm going to give him props here because he didn't know me from a hole in the ground, and we got similar stories. So again, you focus on the similarities, like we talked about with Sergio, a couple podcasts ago. But our lives are completely different. But you got to focus on the similarities. So, like, I was working in an insurance office a few years ago, and I was just getting active with NAMI, and I was doing a hospital speaking, and I don't even know if we were doing the support group yet, just at this point. But, I was doing some sponsorships with AA, and my phone would ring, or I would get a text, and sometimes I would answer the phone in the office because my boss knew that I was in recovery, and she was really supportive of that. And Mauricio's girlfriend was like 2 cubicles over. And she would hear me on the phone talking to somebody about insurance on the office phone, but then hear me talking on my cell phone about alcoholism or drug addiction or depression or what have you. And one day she kind of came over to me in private, started telling me about him. Now, I never met him. She was just talking about her boyfriend at the time. And she's the one that set up the initial meeting. And I think that Mauricio, at least initially, probably felt the same way when I heard that African American gentleman speak when I was hospitalized. This guy's from the south side of Chicago, the streets, completely different upbringing, but he had a similar addiction. He had a heroin addiction, but it's an opiate addiction, right? And the second that man started talking, even though our lives were completely different, there was a bond there, because when you live that life of alcoholism and or addiction, there is just it's in the words, it's the verbiage. It's like you can tell that person's got street cred. You can tell that person battled. You can tell that there's substance with those words. So Mauricio, the first time I meet him, he's like looking at me like, what the hell is this guy going to be able to do for me? I know that's what you were thinking, because you were kind of looking at me.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I was just like, man, what's up with this white dude? I'm like, what up, bro?
Exactly.
I'm just like, I'm like, what up?
We talked for a
while. Slowly, we started talking, and I'm just like, I like this guy. I like this guy for sure. And at that time, I was saying, change people around me. So I'm like, you know what? I want this guy around me. Ever since then, we text every day. We text every day.
Yeah.
We check up on each other every day. How you doing, bro? You good? What's wrong? Cheer up. Come on the show. Let's chill for a little bit. Call me. You good? We check up on each other. He's always good. Yeah. He's always good for sure.
And I mean, I share little tidbits, but I mean, all in all, him being regimented with the schedule, that's on him. As far as him, changing his circle, that was on him. He's always been an exercise guy, so he just got back into the gym,
Yeah, this past year was just tough. I was trying to, like I say, trying to get my daughter back. I had to bust my butt out because it's very expensive.
Yeah.
So this year's definitely a better year. Hopefully I get good news next month. Pray to God. But still working hard. I'm back at the gym, back on my cardio, back on eating good,
Yeah. And then, and then the last thing I would hit on is, he's trying to help other people too in the community. And when I go there to get my beard done and shave down my head and that, sometimes there's little recovery meetings. Hell, we had one a couple of weeks ago.
I have a lot of those sometimes, like without even like calling it. Like there's times like my best friend's there, and 2 of my guys are there that I know that use or drink, and there's me. Sometimes I like to spice it up a bit, like, hey man, what are you doing this weekend? You blacking out again? Oh, come on, man, don't call me out like that. I'm like, hey, switch it up, bro. Come on, man, come on, shot, bro. Let's hang out. Let's go bowling or something, man. And then they start like, oh, yeah, for real, right? I'm like, yeah, man, you don't got to go to Ravers or the bar and watch sports and just get drunk, bro. Come on, just go bowling. Let's go play golf. Let's shoot some pool or something. You know what I mean? And then they start getting hyped up like, man, you're right, bro. You're right. It's just, when they're around me, they get quiet. I notice a lot of people, like a lot of my clients, when they're around me, they get real quiet. Like, some think like, oh, Mauri thinks he's cool because he don't drink. And it's not that at all, bro. Trust me, I'm just a regular dude. Like, I go to bars, hang out sometimes. There's a bar next to my barbershop. Sometimes I go hang out for a little bit. There's a bar across the street from my barbershop. It's real popular. I go get a burger, hang out, leave. Like, I still have fun, you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. I don't necessarily think that they think that you're, arrogant in the fact that you're sober. I really think that they're kind of threatened by the changes that you made in your life. They're intimidated by it, not threatened, but intimidated by it. Because, the changes you made from talking to people that knew you back in the day, and it's the same thing with me too. It's a complete 180, and not easy for people to do, Mauricio. It's not easy for people. The average person can't do
right.
that.
No, you're right. You're right. You tell me that all the time. I'm like, I knew it, but then I forget. Like, it's really hard to do it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I have a really close friend. Marc has met him. His name is Marc as well. He's like 44, 45 years old. I've been helping him stay sober for 7-8 months now. And 2 months ago, he had a little setback where, same thing, his daughters, you know what I mean? Yeah. So he has something going on with that. He's, he just lost control. And he calls me, he FaceTimes me. He's like, man, I messed up. I'm like, don't worry about it, bro. Forget about it. Tomorrow's going to be a new day. Keep pushing forward. Don't worry about it. Whatever you're doing now, stop. Throw everything out. Go to sleep. And he did. Next day, he came by the shop down. Yeah. Don't worry about it. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. I completely ignored what happened the night before. Keep pushing, bro. You're good. He's been working out. He's been on a diet. He looks really good. He looks a lot better, for sure. I've helped him out, so it makes me feel good. You know what I mean?
Definitely, man. That's huge. To kind of say, hey, don't listen to that inner critic in your head. That's going to just be berating you and beating you down and just telling you that you're a failure because you made one slip. But you're losing sight of the fact that you kind of picked yourself back up and got back with the program.
For sure. And also, one of my barbers that works at my shop, like, he never asked me for help. He's asked me, he's told me, hey, I want to slow down on the drinking and smoking. And I'm like, man, you can't start cold turkey, bro. Just tone it down a bit, slow it down. And I haven't told him yet, but I've noticed a big change in him these past 3-4 months. I've noticed that the drinking definitely cut down a lot, like a lot.
Yeah.
I haven't seen him drunk in 3 months, so that's good.
Yeah.
And then the smoking, if you want to smoke, everybody has their own vice, but the drinking, he definitely slowed it down a lot. For sure. So that makes me proud, Yeah. It makes me happy. I'm all about sobriety, you know what I mean? Like, if you want to stay sober, you need some help, some words, I'm here, Hey. It feels like.
Hey, let me just ask you, man. So, like, as you're talking about this, like, just the impact that you're having on everybody that's kind of coming in contact with you through the shop, what's it like for you to kind of, like, have this powerful influence on people taking that step into recovery?
Man, don't lie. What's crazy? I know it's crazy you said that because somebody told me the same thing the other day. He's like, man, bro, like I said, like Martians, we hang out and then we're just not preaching. We're just telling our little story. And everybody knew how I used to be. Majority of the people knew the old me. They're like, man, how'd you do it, bro? Like, what did you do? Like, did you go to rehab or woo? I'm like, no, just really, it's all in your head. Like, just stop. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it feels good. It feels real good to be able to speak your story to people that knew who you were.
Yeah.
Even people, I have people that I don't know that tell me, oh my God, Mauri, I can't picture you drunk. I can't picture you drinking. No. I'm like, good, let's keep it that way.
Yeah.
I wasn't a pretty guy, man. I was real ugly, aggressive, nuts. Not a good vision. I'll never be that person again ever. Yeah, I refuse to go, man.
Yeah.
He gets a little bit of me, Justin, in the sense that when he hasn't seen people in a while, people are, it's almost like sometimes they see a ghost. Like they don't recognize the individual. They know it's the same person, but you're like, what the hell happened? You know,
Over the weekend, I told Mark, man, Mark, I bumped into people from the past that I was rude to and mean to, and I went up to them and I apologized to them, and almost they didn't almost recognize it. Like, oh, who's that, Mauricio? Like, yeah. I was like, man, sorry about what happened this day and that day. Oh, I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry about that. And they're just like, wow,
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Like I told them, I mean, that's making amends, Justin.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Coming to grips with your past, apologizing for your wrongdoings, and moving forward, and just trying to do the next right thing. So it's cool, man. I mean, it's like when I go there, on the weekday, we talk about a lot of different things. We talk about
everybody knows Mark.
Everybody
knows Mark.
They were a little nervous that I was a police officer too at first.
Oh yeah.
Like who the hell's this gringo? Who the hell's this?
There's been a few times that we're at the shop and they will take like a group picture, and then we're Mexican Latinos, right? And then sometimes the only white dude in the shop. So let me take a picture with you guys and share it on Facebook. And what do people tell you, Mark?
Oh, they're like, where the hell do you get to meet these people? My mom's like, where do you meet these? Well, it's just honestly, in this case, it was word of mouth, But then, with this girlfriend,
and then people tell me like, oh man, who's that white dude? He was like, God,
it's the same thing. Right, like, where the hell did you meet him at, too?
I mean, that's my brother right there, bro. Stop playing.
Awesome. Hey, Mauricio, tell Justin the story about when you were doing my beard and that kid walked in. He was trying to catch a flight, and how ironic that was. Remember we talked about that was a God thing, that had to be a higher power thing?
Oh, man, it was crazy because then my other guy, the short dude, walked in with a beard, remember?
I do remember that.
It was tough, so check it out. I'm cutting his hair. It's a Wednesday morning, shop slow, and then out of nowhere, like, we get a new walk-in coming. He was good because I'd never seen him before. He walks in, and me and Mark are just, having a regular conversation. And I'm like, oh, what brings you in today? Never seen you before. He's like, oh, I got to catch a flight tomorrow. I'm like, oh, yeah, where you going? He's like, oh, I'm turning myself into rehab in California. And me and Mark just looked at each other, and we, like, laughed. We're like, really, rehab? What's going on? I said, what are you battling, bro? He was like, oh, I'm an alcoholic. And then right around that moment, my guy walks in, and as that dude says, "Oh, I'm an alcoholic. I'm going to rehab." My guy walks in with a beer, he just felt really weird, like he's another person that's battling. So it was tough.
Yeah.
It was.
But even the guy that walked in, Justin, because I think I said something to the effect, well, you walked into the right place at the right time, and he kind of looked at me. I go, because I'm sober and he's sober. I go, and I've been there. I've been out of treatment. Mauricio did it without going to treatment. I give him a lot of credit for that, because when he describes the story, we've had some heart-to-heart conversations about how bad the drinking was, and going through withdrawal, the DTs in the morning, the shakes, and having to drink a little bit in the morning to kind of set the tone or whatever.
Yeah, he said he was like, oh, I need to go to rehab, or my wife is going to divorce me, and I'm going to lose my business.
Yeah.
And he was a young guy, right? He was like what, 28?
Yeah, he was in his late 20s. Yeah.
But the crazy thing is, he had already gone to rehab a few times. He told us. Definitely. But he said this time he's the one that told the family, like, "Oh, I want to go to rehab. I need help." Yeah. I hope he's doing good though.
Yeah. He said for the first time he's doing it for himself. It's not forced upon him.
Right. Yeah. That's a huge change. Because I mean, it's easy to kind of throw out everything that you're doing when that other person that you're doing it for kind of pisses you off. They're like, why am I even doing this? Screw you.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
No, so that's cool. It's just kind of like, hey, like these situations, it's not just like ironic that it like follows you around. There's a reason why you're able to kind of pull this out of people and make them feel safe and know that there's something they can kind of like bridge this gap between both of you with. It's huge. So, no, this has been a great conversation. Mauricio, I'm thrilled that you're able to kind of join us. Mark, great recommendation, man. And have Mauricio come here and tell a story about just kind of
it's my first time doing a podcast like this, so I'm still new to it, but I'll do better, man.
You've been on podcasts before, but we're not going to talk about them. No, I'm just joking. You and the guys.
Leave those for your own private streams, Mark. And then
No. A couple that he does security with, they were doing a podcast from the shop. It wasn't.
I really appreciate you letting me be part of the podcast, though. I really enjoyed it, and I enjoy watching your podcast. I was like excited to be in it. I can't wait to tell my story. Hopefully, somebody can hear it and relate to me. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. The inspiration, kind of where you were to kind of where you are now, man. Like it's quite the journey. It's pretty inspiring.
Yeah.
Any final words, Mauricio, Mark, before we kind of call it a night here?
No, I mean, like I said, the changes that he made, I only got a handful of stories where I can really say that the changes in somebody, it's indescribable. And the changes that he's made over the last, 3+ years has just been incredible from the man that I met, the very first time to now. And he's doing the right thing. He's living a life of service. He's doing what he needs to do to stay sober. I hope and pray, that he gets rewarded at the end of the day, and he does get that visitation with his daughter, because I know how hard he's worked the last few years, and he absolutely deserves to be able to rekindle that relationship with his daughter again. So that's the one thing I wish upon you, Mauricio. I know how hard you work, so you deserve that, okay?
Appreciate you, brother. It means a lot, for real. It really does.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, these podcasts air on the 15th and the 30th. As always, we appreciate everybody tuning in and listening. Mark and I are open to feedback suggestions at namidupage.org. You can kind of find us there, reach out to us, let us know if there's certain topics you want us to kind of cover, any feedback you got. We are more than welcome and willing to receive that. So we look forward to you all continuing to listen to our podcast, and we will catch you on the next episode. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us today on Healing Minds, Stories of Resiliency and Recovery. If you're on the journey to find guidance and insights, subscribe now wherever you find your podcasts. Healing Minds, Stories of Resiliency and Recovery is an educational resource, not a substitute for medical or therapeutic advice. The opinions expressed by the hosts and their guests are not necessarily those of NAMI DuPage. Go to namidupage.org/podcast for links to past episodes, show notes, and to submit a question or topic ideas for a future episode. Until next time, be well.